Have you ever noticed how some people will never respect you, no matter how much you give? They assume you'll always be there, always patient, always forgiving, always proving yourself. But what if I told you that the moment you stop tolerating their disrespect is the moment they realize what they lost? It's like a well that's drawn from every day, used without thought, taken for granted. But when the last drop is gone and the ground cracks with thirst, they realize too late that they should have valued it before it ran dry. Or it's like a workhorse that carries the heaviest loads, whipped, pushed, expected to keep going. No one stops to appreciate its strength. But when it finally collapses from exhaustion, they panic, realizing too late that the burden was always carried by the one they never respected. Because while they're busy disrespecting you, you have a choice. Keep tolerating their games or walk away in silence. And when you finally choose yourself, that's when the regret sets in. That's when they start noticing your absence, wondering why their usual tactics no longer work. So today, we're exposing 8 types of people who will never respect you, no matter what you do. The only way to win? Cut them off. Because respect isn't begged for, it's given freely. And if it isn't, it's time to walk away. Stay until the end, because the last one will change everything. Let's get started. Number 1. The constantly jealous. Let's talk about one of the biggest energy drains in life, chasing people who are secretly jealous of you. At first, it's hard to notice. Maybe they pretend to be happy for you, offering a half-hearted, "That's great," when you share good news. Maybe they smile, but their energy feels off. Or maybe they stay quiet, refusing to acknowledge your success at all. But over time, a pattern emerges. They don't celebrate you, they resent you. Here's the truth. If someone is constantly jealous of you, their insecurity won't allow them to respect you. No matter how kind you are, no matter how much you try to include them, they will always see your success as a threat. Instead of being inspired by your progress, they feel personally attacked by it. Instead of supporting you, they secretly hope to see you fail. And that's the harsh reality. Some people don't want to grow with you, they just don't want to be left behind. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Think about that. Jealousy is not about you, it's about them. It's about their inner emptiness, their inability to feel satisfied with their own life. No matter how much they have, they will always want what someone else has. And that kind of mindset, it's impossible to fix from the outside. You can't fill someone else's insecurity with kindness, patience, or approval. It's a battle they have to fight on their own. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Jake, had a friend who would never acknowledge his wins. When Jake got a promotion, this friend brushed it off, saying, "Well, it's about time." When Jake started improving his fitness, the friend suddenly started making snide comments about people who think they're better than everyone just because they work out. No matter what Jake did, this person always found a way to diminish it. That's when Jake realized this person didn't dislike him. They disliked what he represented, growth. And rather than work on themselves, they chose to resent him instead. So how do you deal with the constantly jealous? First, stop expecting them to change. Jealousy is deeply rooted in insecurity, and unless they confront it, nothing you do will make them truly happy for you. Second, distance yourself. You don't need to surround yourself with people who resent your success. And third, never shrink yourself to make them comfortable. Keep growing, keep evolving, and let them deal with their own demons. At the end of the day, people who are constantly jealous of you will never truly support you. Stop chasing their approval. The right people won't see your success as a threat. They'll see it as something to celebrate. Number 2, the chronic manipulators. Let's talk about one of the most toxic types of people. The ones who never respect you because respect isn't even in their nature. Chronic manipulators. These people don't operate with honesty, fairness, or mutual respect. Instead, they twist words, guilt trip, and deceive to get what they want. They don't care about truth. They care about control. At first, it might not be obvious. Maybe they disguise their manipulation as concern. I'm only saying this because I care about you. Or they use guilt to keep you in line. After everything I've done for you, you're really going to say no? Sometimes they even play the victim. Wow, I guess I'm always the bad guy. But if you look closely, you'll see the pattern. Nothing is ever their fault, and you are always the one left feeling confused, guilty, or powerless. Here's the truth. Manipulators do not respect you because they do not see you as an equal. They see you as a tool. They don't care about your boundaries, your feelings, or your perspective. Everything they do is calculated to benefit them, even if it hurts you in the process. And the worst part? They convince you that you're the problem. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." What does that mean? It means you don't need to fight manipulators on their level. You don't need to explain yourself, prove your worth, or play their games. The best way to handle a manipulator is to refuse to engage. When you stop feeding their need for control, you take away their power. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Emily, had a friend who was a master manipulator. Every time Emily tried to set a boundary, this friend would turn it around on her. If Emily said no to a favor, the friend would say, "Wow, I guess our friendship doesn't mean anything to you." If Emily confronted her about something hurtful, she'd play the victim. "I can't believe you'd accuse me of that." Over time, Emily started feeling like she was always walking on eggshells, constantly defending herself for things she didn't even do. Until one day she realized this wasn't a friendship. It was a power struggle. So, how do you deal with chronic manipulators? First, recognize the tactics. If someone always makes you feel guilty, second guesses yourself, or twists your words, take a step back and see the pattern. Second, set boundaries and stick to them. A manipulator will test you, but the moment you stop giving in, they lose control. And finally, walk away when necessary. You don't need to explain, argue, or justify. A manipulator will never give you real respect, so stop expecting it. At the end of the day, manipulators don't care about fairness. They care about control. The only way to win is to refuse to play their game. Cut them off, reclaim your peace, and move forward without looking back. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights. Number 3, the habitual liars. Let's talk about one of the biggest deal breakers when it comes to respect: habitual liars. These are the people who lie so effortlessly that deception becomes their second nature. They don't just lie to get out of trouble. They lie even when there's no reason to. They twist reality, bend the truth, and rewrite history just to fit their narrative. And if you catch them, they'll either deny it outright or make you feel like the crazy one for even questioning them. Here's the truth. If someone constantly lies, they see no value in truth or in you. Trust and respect go hand in hand. When someone lies to you repeatedly, they're not just hiding facts. They're showing you that they don't care about honesty, accountability, or integrity. They see you as someone they can deceive, someone who will tolerate their dishonesty, and the more you overlook their lies, the more they'll believe they can get away with it. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius said, "Truth stands the test of time. Lies are always caught." And that's the reality. Lies always unravel. No matter how convincing someone may seem in the moment, dishonesty will always surface. A liar's greatest weakness is that they can never keep track of their own fabrications. Eventually, their stories contradict, their mask slips, and the truth exposes them for what they really are. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Adam, had a friend who lied about everything. At first it was small things, exaggerating stories to make himself seem more impressive. But over time, the lies got bigger. He'd cancel plans with excuses that never made sense. He'd claim to have connections that didn't exist. And when confronted, he'd dodge the question or act offended, saying, "Wow, you don't trust me?" Eventually, Adam realized something. This person wasn't just lying about situations, he was lying about who he was. And if someone can't even be honest about themselves, they will never be honest with you. So how do you handle habitual liars? First, stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. If someone has lied to you multiple times, trust what you've seen, not what they say. Second, don't waste time confronting them. A liar will always have another excuse, another story, and finally, walk away. You can't build a relationship, a friendship, or even a business with someone whose words mean nothing. At the end of the day, truth is the foundation of respect. If someone cannot give you honesty, they don't deserve your trust. Cut them off and let their lies catch up to them on their own. Number 4. The gossipers and backstabbers. Let's talk about one of the most toxic and disloyal types of people, the ones who gossip and backstab. At first, they might seem like harmless storytellers, always bringing you the latest drama, whispering secrets about others. But here's the reality. If they talk badly about others to you, they will do the same behind your back. These people thrive on negativity. They don't build relationships based on trust or respect. They build them on shared gossip, tearing others down to make themselves feel important. They pretend to be loyal, but the moment it benefits them, they will turn on you just as easily. And the worst part, you'll never know where you truly stand with them. One day, they're your biggest supporter. The next, they're feeding someone else stories about you. Here's the truth. Gossipers and backstabbers have no loyalty, let alone respect. A person who genuinely values you will protect your name when you're not around, not drag it through the mud for entertainment. If someone is always talking badly about others, it's not because they have insider information. It's because they enjoy the power of knowing things they shouldn't. They use secrets as currency, and in their world, no one is safe from betrayal. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, instead of debating whether someone is trustworthy, look at their actions. If they consistently gossip, spread rumors, and betray others, don't waste your energy trying to figure out if they'll do the same to you. They will. The best way to deal with them? Distance yourself and refuse to engage. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Ryan, had a co-worker who was always spilling secrets. At first, Ryan thought they were just close, that this person trusted him with information no one else knew. But one day, Ryan realized something. This co-worker was telling him things they had no business knowing. Private conversations, personal struggles of other employees, nothing was off limits. That's when it hit him. If they were telling him this much about others, what were they saying about him? Ryan slowly pulled away, keeping his conversations professional. And sure enough, he later heard from another colleague that this same person had been gossiping about him. So, how do you deal with gossipers and backstabbers? First, don't trust them with personal information. If they gossip about others, they will do the same to you. Second, don't engage in their drama. If someone tries to pull you into negativity, change the subject or walk away. And finally, cut them off when necessary. You don't need people in your life who only thrive on tearing others down. At the end of the day, real loyalty is proven when you're not around. The right people will protect your name, not exploit it. Surround yourself with those who value respect over rumors, and let the gossipers talk themselves into irrelevance. If you've watched the video this far, don't forget to leave a comment with a thank God and give it a like if you enjoyed the content. Your support means a lot and motivates me to keep creating more interesting videos. I hope you find inspiration in them and that we continue learning together. Thank you for your support. Number 5. The ones who take and never give. Let's talk about one of the most draining types of people, the ones who only take but never give. These people don't believe in balance, fairness, or mutual support. They only show up when they need something, whether it's your time, your resources, or your emotional support. But when the roles are reversed, when you need something, they disappear, make excuses, or suddenly become too busy. Here's the truth. If someone only reaches out when they need something, but vanishes when you need support, they don't see you as a person. They see you as a tool. You are a means to an end, a resource to be used when convenient. They don't invest in the relationship, they don't reciprocate, and they certainly don't consider how their behavior affects you. It's not a friendship, it's a transaction, one where they are always withdrawing and you are always depositing. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." True relationships, whether friendships, partnerships, or even family connections, should elevate you, not drain you. The people in your life should challenge you to grow, support you when you need them, and contribute to your journey in a meaningful way. If someone's only role in your life is taking, then they are not a friend, they are a burden. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Julia, had a friend who always needed something. Whether it was financial help, career advice, or just someone to vent to, this friend would constantly call Julia when things were tough, and Julia, being a kind person, was always there. But over time, Julia noticed something. This friend never checked in on her. She never asked how Julia was doing, never made time to listen when Julia was struggling. One day, Julia decided to test something. She stopped reaching out first. And guess what? The friendship died. Because the moment Julia was no longer available to be used, this person had no reason to keep her around. So how do you handle these kinds of people? First, recognize the pattern. If someone's relationship with you is one-sided, acknowledge it for what it is. Second, set boundaries. Stop always being the giver. If they can't offer support in return, limit what you give. And finally, walk away when necessary. The right people will show up for you just as much as you show up for them. At the end of the day, real relationships are built on mutual effort, not convenience. If someone only takes and never gives, they don't deserve a place in your life. Cut them off, protect your energy, and surround yourself with people who truly value you. Number 6. The ones who undermine your confidence. Let's talk about one of the most damaging types of people, those who actively try to undermine your confidence. These individuals don't challenge you to help you grow. They don't offer constructive criticism to guide you. Instead, they mock, belittle, or dismiss your ambitions, not because they genuinely think you'll fail, but because your growth threatens them. At first, their comments might seem small, a sarcastic remark here, a backhanded compliment there. You mention a goal you're working on, and they respond with a smirk. You? Really? Good luck with that. You achieve something you've worked hard for, and they brush it off. Must have been luck. They don't openly attack you, but they plant tiny seeds of doubt, hoping you'll start questioning yourself. And if you're not careful, their words can slowly chip away at your self-belief. Here's the truth. People who undermine your confidence don't want you to succeed because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. The more you grow, the more obvious it becomes that they're not growing. Instead of putting in the work to improve themselves, they try to keep you small, because that way they never have to feel left behind. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." What does this mean? It means obstacles, including the negativity of others, are not barriers, they are tests. The people who try to undermine you are revealing their own weaknesses, not yours. Every time someone mocks your ambition or belittles your progress, it's a sign that you're on the right track. They wouldn't waste their energy trying to pull you down if you weren't already rising. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Sarah, was passionate about starting her own business. She had a solid plan, she was motivated, and she was ready to take the leap. But every time she brought it up, her so-called friends would laugh. Be realistic, Sarah. Most businesses fail. That's cute, but are you sure you can handle it? At first, she shrugged it off, but over time the constant doubt started creeping in. She almost gave up until she realized something. The people discouraging her weren't successful themselves. They weren't taking risks, they weren't pursuing their dreams, and most importantly, they weren't offering solutions, only negativity. That's when she made a choice. She stopped listening to those who weren't where she wanted to be. Fast forward a few years, and her business is thriving, while the same people who doubted her are still stuck in the same place. So how do you handle people like this? First, recognize their insecurity. Their negativity has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own fear of growth. Second, don't absorb their doubt. If someone's opinion isn't helping you move forward, it's not worth your time. And finally, prove them wrong, not by arguing, but by succeeding. At the end of the day, your confidence is yours to protect. The people who try to undermine you are simply revealing their own fears. Keep moving, keep growing, and let their doubt be nothing more than background noise. Number 7. The ones who ignore your boundaries. Let's talk about a major sign of disrespect. People who ignore your boundaries. These individuals don't just overstep accidentally. They do it repeatedly, even after you've made your limits clear. They don't respect what makes you uncomfortable, and instead of adjusting their behavior, they test how much you'll tolerate. At first, it might seem harmless. Maybe they push a joke too far, even after you've asked them to stop. Maybe they keep prying into your personal life when you've told them it's off limits. Or maybe they pressure you into doing things you're not comfortable with, brushing off your objections with, "Come on, don't be so sensitive." Here's the truth. If someone repeatedly crosses your limits despite being told, they don't respect you. They're testing you. They want to see if you'll enforce your boundaries or if they can get away with breaking them. And the more you let it slide, the more they push. Because to them, your boundaries aren't rules, they're obstacles. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What does this mean? It means that you can't control how others behave, but you can control what you allow. When someone disrespects your boundaries, you don't have to argue, explain, or prove your worth. You simply enforce them. You remove access. You stand firm. Because once someone sees they can walk over you, they won't stop. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Jason, had a friend who always made inappropriate comments about his personal life. At first, Jason laughed it off, but over time the comments became more invasive. One day, Jason told him directly, "Hey, I don't appreciate those jokes. Stop." But instead of respecting the boundary, the friend doubled down. "Relax, it's just a joke." That's when Jason realized this wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a test. So he stopped engaging, cut off conversations when the jokes started, and eventually distanced himself completely. The moment Jason stopped tolerating the behavior, the friend lost his control over him. So how do you deal with people who ignore your boundaries? First, stop giving second chances. If someone keeps pushing your limits, believe their actions, not their excuses. Second, enforce your boundaries with action, not just words. If they refuse to respect them, remove access to yourself. And finally, remember, respect is not something you should have to beg for. At the end of the day, a person who truly values you will respect your limits without needing reminders. If someone keeps testing how much you'll tolerate, stop explaining and start walking away. Because real strength isn't in arguing, it's in refusing to entertain disrespect. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights.